Lindsay, Lohan's father, had an interesting interview about his daughter and going to jail. And the one thing that caught my interest is his mention that parent alienation must stop because it destroys families. Divorce destroys families. Um, and that is an issue that I've had to deal with, is parent alienation. I was accused of so much bullshit while I'm the only parent that had to work. Nobody was feeding my kids except for me. Um, I also had to be pulled into a court 24/7 from a father who didn't want to pay any of his child support. So any orders that were, I didn't even initiate these court cases. They were initiated against me, that was forcing me to constantly show up. So I pay him child support. So not only was I the one feeding my children, I was dealing with the abuse and the alienation, the false accusations that were coming at me all the time. And I was constantly being pulled into court for this guy trying to get out of paying his child support, which ended up me paying child support. Now, me just talking about that story is parent alienation. Um, so it's like, how the hell do you get out of that game? Um, if you don't defend yourself, if you don't say anything against it, then it makes it true because kids believe it. If kids are told one story, they will believe it. So it's like that has been the problem that I've been challenged with, because as soon as you defend it, as soon as you try and stand up for yourself, you're guilty of it, because I'm now saying something negative about my children's father. So, although mine is true and his is false, he thinks his is true. And I know for a fact mine is true. So, which one is right? The point is, like in this interview, this father is saying it's got to stop. And you got to look at the best interest of the kids. And that's something that I've even been saying all the time. But like him, it takes two parents that want to do that. And that is the whole problem with parent alienation, is one's trying to profit off children, while the other one's just trying to teach kids morals and values and respect. And when you see something that's not moral, not respectful, and you teach that behavior, you were criticizing that behavior, which makes you guilty right away. It's a hard pattern to get the hell out of. And I really, really don't know the answer to that. All I know is one avenue I attempted is counseling. Everybody would say, get counseling. Well, there was no counseling. I live in Canada, and there is zero professional help. I mean, there's lots of organizations that claim they help, but they never show up. Not only was I working trying to feed these children, not only was I dealing with the abuse that was caused by, I call abusive behavior. I mean, the lies that encourage a child to physically do harm to their mother, I think is fairly abusive. Could be wrong, and I'll always admit, could be wrong. Just step to the table and prove me wrong. Go to a counselor that shows me I'm wrong. Um, so while I'm trying to figure out how to solve this little problem, I'm seeing that, okay, I'll play by their rules, which is why I'm going to talk about family on my channel, because the talk about me is something that's negative and not true, is something I don't like. It does harm to me, and it's destroying my family. So now that my family is completely destroyed, um, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about the truth as I know it. And that seems to be the irritation, because nobody wants the truth to come out. If you are proud of your behaviors, then you don't mind people talking about it. But it's only when you do not like what's being said because you are ashamed of it, kind of sort of points out who's right and who's wrong, in my opinion. I really don't care. You can see there's like 14,500 negative, hateful, edited videos about me, but I don't care about that because they are providing no evidence. There's more than enough, if there's any edited videos, it's like, why not watch the full original videos? Why not look at the evidence, not the edited evidence? If you have to come up with an edited piece to make a story look true, something's wrong with you. So I'm trying to be true to myself, because at the end of the day, that's the only evidence that proves who I am. One of the accusations that I had that my kids believed in was that I was very selfish and spending money on self. It's like, how the hell, if you're making like $800 a month, your rent's $900, exactly where is any money going towards myself? I sure as hell didn't have to pay that high rent if I didn't have as many kids, if I didn't need as many bedrooms. But my rent was high because I had to pay for room and boarding for all of the kids. It's a hard thing to understand how to jump out of this, how not to have this parent alienation, and still call a spade and question, is this behavior really right? Is this something that we really want to do? Now, I know me talking about it is the irritation that nobody wants. I say, I'm writing a book, and if you are in this chapter, do you want it to be a good story or a bad story? You have to participate in the story that's being told. And that's kind of like every time I've seen something go wrong, like if I was in a court and I've seen the corruption that was going on, I always had it in the back of my mind. I'm writing a book. Are you sure you want this chapter in? If you knew that this chapter was in, would you behave in that manner? If somebody was going to report on your behavior, would you really behave in that way? And that's all I'm saying is call a spade a spade. Be true to yourself, so at the end of the day you have your own evidence that tells you what's true and what isn't true. Still not seeing my kids get any counseling as they've promised. Mind you, I don't really have any faith in any type of counseling that's even out there, because we've tried that so many times. But at the end of the day, it's sometimes you got to create your own peace table. If you don't know how to communicate, show up and learn how to communicate. You at least have to show up at the table. And, that's the first step. But I don't see people actually doing that. With Lindsay Lohan's parents, I see a father that wants to do that. A father that really seems to have concern for his children. But I'm not seeing the mother show up at that peace table. In my case, that's the same situation. I am not seeing the father want to show up at a peace table. I don't know how pleasant it will be to have this story be told that you didn't financially support your children. You have zero evidence of supporting any children. every month there was no check. So, I mean, in order for you to find any kind of evidence that you actually paid, show me the monthly checks. If you can't show me monthly checks, chances are you paid shit. All you did was pay lawyers. So, unless that wrong is corrected, that's the story that gets told. If you're not proud of that story, you might want to repent on your actions. And that gets me into, people that are believing in Bibles. My husband always has this cross, always tends to believe in doing what's right. And religion says you need to be repentant. And what does that mean? Just ask Jesus to forgive you? Well, you friggin' destroyed a family. You can't just go and ask Jesus to forgive you and all of a sudden your family's better. You actually have to do some work on family, with family. You have to repent some of your actions. Otherwise, it's pointless. You've destroyed. And that pattern is being seen, patterns within patterns within patterns. It's like we're destroying our family. But we're also destroying our global humanity family. That we've done so many things that are wrong. We won't even admit that anything that was wrong. And those that do just say, oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. And yet your sinning has done some damage to the world that you actually, true repentance means you have to actually go out of your way and fix some of the wrongs that you've created. I ain't seeing that happen yet. This is why I am against religion and these Bibles, because nothing's teaching you how to correct the wrongs that you put out in the world. Nobody's even teaching you how to show up to a table to say, could have been wrong. I am not saying that I am perfect. I knew for a fact when I had that much stress and I was pulled in so many different directions, there is zero chance in hell that I could have been a perfect person. It just couldn't be done. I am looking forward to anybody that could teach me how I could have done better given the situation and the abuse that I was under. But I haven't seen anybody show up to show me how I was wrong. Other than, yeah, if I was you living with that, I'd act exactly the same way. But I was expected to walk on water. I was expected to be like a god without anybody respecting the god. So it's a really strange world. I can't see how anybody can even sit there saying that you're not happy with the global condition if you aren't willing to participate in the change that needs to happen. Every single one of us on this planet are guilty of something. Which one of us are actually standing up and saying, hey, I was a little wrong and this is what I'm prepared to do that is right? Only when we're all willing to do something like that will we actually see some kind of change. Until then, we're just perpetuating the same problem. We're doing the same alienation of each other, whether it's within your families or within your humanity family. At some point in time, we got to learn what a peace table looks like and show up. Lord knows both sides of all wars are wrong. You have to admit you're wrong someplace. Even if you don't know you're wrong, at least be open to find out where you're wrong. I am. Show me where I'm wrong. Show me where I could have done different. Show me what I need to do different. But right now, talking about family is about the only thing that I got going. They all want me to be working. And the only thing I can see getting a job at is what I've experienced and maybe helping out other people to avoid this in the past or in the future. I don't want any child to go through what I went through or what my children have gone through. I would spend the rest of my life screaming this to make sure nobody else had to go through that. They want me working, but it's like, what kind of job can I do when this is the only thing that I am a master at now? Peace out.